bull fucking shit. And I'm not going to talk very badly about her, but I'm going to say some things that I have to say. I don't give a fuck if you have a problem with what I'm saying, but you know what? I'm just going to cut the shit and talk straight up. Roniah, I am sorry that your daughter died. I am sorry. I'm so sorry that you lost a child, but I'm also not going to lie to you too. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to try to make you look bad, but I'm also going to explain a few things, Roniah, and I'm fucking sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Right? You couldn't grab a link. And for people that, even people that hate watch me, right? You could not figure out how to grab a link on my channel that night when I dedicated my channel to your daughter and raising funds for your daughter. You could not figure out how to grab a link, right? How many people remember a few weeks ago, weeks before, when I dropped the link in my chat and I said, hey, anybody want to join? Grab a link. See, I'm not even reading my chat, so you can say whatever the fuck you want. About, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks before then, I was like, hey, I never do this, but I'm going to drop a link if anyone wants to take a link. And Roniah took a link. Haters, you hate watch me all the time. Do you remember when Roniah took a link and she was literally sitting on the toilet taking a shit? Do you remember that? People in my chat said, is she sitting on the toilet going to the bathroom? And I was mortified. I was like mortified because not only was somebody on my panel like taking a shit, it was my fucking moderator. And how do you explain that? And they're like, and people in my live chat are like, is she taking a shit? And I was like, no, of course she's not. She's like just sitting on the toilet seat, right? How do you play that off? Because I mean, I can't drop my mod. Like, I can't just drop her. So I know that all of you know what I'm talking about. When she took a link and she was on the toilet live and fucked up. Right. So what I'm gonna say, and I'm not saying anything bad, I'm saying how I feel. What I'm gonna say is that there's been 2 instances with her that I am aware, 2 that I'm aware of. Right. Her bestie, Renee and I were FaceTiming, we were talking, we were bullshitting, and she had her bestie there. And trying to word this very carefully. Very carefully, I'm trying to word this. So her bestie was on the sofa, and she like put the phone on her bestie, and I was like, oh yeah, strike a pose, strike a pose, strike a pose. And I was like, screenshot, I'm like, strike a pose, you're beautiful, strike a pose, right? I was taking all these pictures of her bestie, right? Because that was her bestie. Well, like 2 weeks later, she was not her bestie anymore. And I was like, well, why are you not friends with your bestie? And the story I got, and I want to make sure that I don't say it wrong. So I'm going to say I don't know if this or that happened, but the story that I got was either that her bestie took her pain meds or her bestie owed her pain meds and didn't give it back to her. But they stopped being besties about pain meds and a pain management clinic, right? It had to do with pain meds. It was a fight about pain meds, right? So when Renee's daughter was in the hospital and I was talking to her on the phone, her daughter Brittany, that was on, and I don't care. Sorry, Roniah, I have to speak the truth, and I'm sorry. So when Renee's daughter was in the hospital dying, she hadn't passed yet. Her daughter Brittany, that is running the fundraiser with her, she had it out with her daughter Brittany because her belongings, like clothes and stuff, and her medication was at Brittany's, and Roniah couldn't get to her medication, right? So there's been 2 instances with her with pain meds. And you gotta understand, my son is a former addict. He's sober now, but he's a former addict. And those are 2 huge red flags for me. And so when I was trying to collect money for her, I was adamant about giving it to the funeral home, giving it to the funeral home, giving it to the funeral home. I never said hit her Cash App. I never said do the GoFundMe. And Roniah was telling me, there's a GoFundMe up there, right? So Roniah was telling me, do not give the money to the GoFundMe, send it to the Cash App. So I was getting really weird about that. And I'm like, no, the money needs to go to the funeral home. Like, if you want like a funeral for your daughter, the money needs to go to the funeral home. And I was adamant the whole time. Send the money to the funeral home. Send the money to the funeral home. And you guys got mad at me, but I talked to the aunt. And the reason why I talked to the aunt is because Airbrush Artist told me, because we went through the Facebook, because Roniah was in and out, and she was not constantly communicating with me. So Airbrush Artist looked on Facebook and found the cousin, because the aunt was like, if anybody took pictures of my, niece, whatever, and they're posting pictures of her when she's in the hospital, hell hath no fury, I'm gonna come after you. So we knew that the aunt was involved. But Renee was like not calling me back, not returning my phone calls. And so the cousin was contacted by like airbrush artist and like, hey, we want to help her. Renee is like a moderator of Michelle. So the cousin contacted me. And I was like, hey, I've got a channel. Renee is my moderator. I want to figure out how I can get funds for her. And so the cousin's like, oh my God, you need to contact my mom. She's stressing. They're trying to cook all these dinners, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I got in touch with the aunt. Like, I didn't like seek the aunt out or anything. The cousin gave me the aunt's phone number, her mother's phone number. And then I said, auntie. Okay. So somebody said I was being racist because I said auntie. Guys, if you know anyone that is black, anyone, they don't say aunt, they say auntie. That's what black people say. It's not aunt, it's auntie. But I referred to her as auntie, so apparently I was being racist. No, that's her auntie. I was not fucking being racist. That's what they call it. So